55 AD. Well, in the next period, starting just before the French Revolution, the American Revolution, etc., up to the beginning of the internet, well, in the planetary period, there's 20 times as much change as there was during the national. And then when we go to the galactic period, from 1999 to February 2011, that's when all of these thoughts of the galaxy start coming, humanity goes galactic. And we have all this interest in Battlestar Galactica. Everyone becomes interested in extraterrestrial issues on a planetary basis. Well, that's all coming from the galactic center black hole and from the emanations at the universal level. And there's 20 times as much change there as there was during the planetary period in terms of bringing us up to a frequency and level knowledge and information and cognitive basis to be able to participate as citizens of a multidimensional, highly organized and populated universe. And that's just the prelude to the universal era, which starts at the beginning of 2011. In terms of the broadcast, now, some people may be right on the broadcast. You know, we each interpret it according to our individual transducers, which are in our brains and in our minds and in our extended bodies. If we look at what the Mayan calendar is, then is really a mind map. It's not a calendar where you want to keep time. It's a mind map because it maps what sorts of things humanity is going to have on its mind at any particular time. And 2011 and 2012 is just the start of the universal era on Earth. That's when those are the signals that are being broadcast from the galactic center black hole, which the Mayans called Unabku. Now, if we just look, for example, at the galactic period, and which started in 1999, that's when the center of the galaxy started broadcasting the galactic sense. Well, if we look at the year 1999, that's when the first book, Exopolitics, was written. Because that's what's happening. Those are the signals being broadcast by the galaxy. And so all of this is kind of coming out in a matrix way. I have just a few copies of this that I managed to smuggle through U.S. Customs down to here for those who like to buy it. Not smuggle. You can't bring books through the aircraft, but I just said that they were pamphlets. So there you go. Then we had the first scholarly conference on exopolitics in the year 2000. In other words, we had other scholars come in. By the year 2003, that's when the first nation state, Mexico, began to disclose its UFO extraterrestrial files in earnest. In 2004 and 2005, that's when Brazil, Peru, and Chile began to disclose. The former Deputy Prime Minister of Canada, Paul Hellyer, gave a speech then in which he said, UFOs are as real as the airplanes over your head, and the US government is planning to try to start an intergalactic war. So we have to do something about it. In beginning of 2006, the Associated Press reported that exopolitics had been nominated for Word of the Year of 2005. So we begin to get into the culture. These memes begin to get into the culture, these survival memes. In 2007, we had the Chicago O'Hare sighting. France and the United Kingdom disclose their UFO files. We had the former governor of Arizona say that, yes, the spacecraft, which was 2 miles, a mile on a side, which flew over Phoenix, Arizona on March 13, 1997, was an extraterrestrial spacecraft. And I'm sorry I did what I did and try to cover it up. That happened in 2006 and the beginning of 2007. And we could go into the Chicago O'Hare sighting. It was very interesting. Just to make it brief, a 60-foot UFO came down at United Gate C-17 in Chicago O'Hare Airport. I've been to that gate. And about 4 in the afternoon, it was witnessed by the plane, the ground crew, the tower, the FAA got involved, and it was all on all of the major media. And it came down there on November 7th, 2006. And there's a theory called, which we wrote about 20 years ago, called the context communication theory of extraterrestrial communications, which is that all UFOs are like dreams. They're communication from a higher intelligent source. They're like a dream is a communication from your subconscious to your conscious. Well, November 7th, 2006, what day was that? That was the US midterm election at which the neocons lost control of both houses of Congress. And I was a civil liberties lawyer, you know, working in that field also. And, you know, a police state was about to take over in the US. And in fact, with that sighting on midterm election day was when the shift happened in both houses of Congress. With the election then in 2008, which also brought about the collapse of the old financial structure during what's called the fifth night of the galactic underworld. In other words, all of the collapse of the economic structure is because things that are hierarchical and are based on control and are not sustainable are being all collapsed now because that's the programming come out from the galactic center black hole. So it's all happening according to a large schedule. Now, we're currently in the 6th day from November 08 to November 09 of the galactic underworld. And what happened on December 12th, 2008? That's when the discovery of life on Mars happened in the NASA photographs of the NASA rover Spirit, which is on the surface of Mars, which photographed humanoids, animals, structures on Mars. And you can go to exopolitics.com and see scientific papers and over 40 documents. They're all free to download. So all of this is what's happening according to the drivers behind the universe at the galactic level and at the universe level. So it's all good. So that we can look forward to more disclosure. We can look forward to more positive things occurring as the old structures collapse. The thing is not to identify and suffer for the old structures. Now, what are some of the positive outcomes? Well, Pt6of7, and here I want to acknowledge the research and insights of David Wilcock, who has provided a lot of the energy and insights for looking at how these processes are resulting in a positive future. For example, Pt6of7, a psychologist researcher from Palo Alto, California, each day, at that time of the day when we're most aligned with the galactic center, and you can see the spike on the graph there, our psychic ability increases 400%. So the more we're aligned with the galactic center black hole in the galactic center, and the universe